when Brad, I did a New Year's Eve with Brad Williams the night that we broke the playoff drought, and the game went long in 7:30 show, and the game went long, and then we won the game, and that wasn't enough. We had to watch the Bengals Ravens game, the end of that, on the giant screen, because if the Bengals won, we make the playoffs. So they waited even more, like an extra half hour for that, because people were going to never leave the bar if they didn't put it on in the showroom. So people would sit down like fuck, because they're fucking animals. They need to like be herded into the showroom to just be like, at least they'll be in their seats. So when the game's over, we can start the show.
I don't hate the Bills. It's not like the Yankees for me, but I don't like the Bills.
Right.
But I respect teams like that. I respect.
There's no reason for you to hate us because you've been destroying us for 20
Well, it's about
years.
to end. It's about to end.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I do.
I'm trying to what you learn in the game.
I'm saying I respect.
I'm trying to be Johnny fanboy over here. What I'm trying to tell you is that I went up during halftime, and I think they were down.
Oh, okay.
They were down.
And so people were in a shitty mood.
And I'll never forget that I went up there thinking I was going to be the Captain Kirk of the Enterprise, and it was the longest 25 minutes of my life. I mean, guys, it was just think of getting punched in the face for 25 minutes.
I can't even imagine that. And it was the Dallas Stars series too, Game 5.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to walk off and get fired. He's going to call Yoda. This is the end of my Yoda career.
That's big too.
You know, this is, when you're a feature act and you're making $400 or $500 a week, Yoda keeps you in pork chops. And I walked off, and a couple people clapped, and a couple people said, "Thank God." And I remember wanting to kill myself, but Liederman came up to me and said, "Good job, man. You didn't get anything thrown at you."
Yeah. I was gonna just say, it's like they didn't leave.
You did a great job. Yeah. I go, "Are you fucking nuts? I feel like death right now." He goes, "Hey, could have been worse. You could have been getting stitched up right now."
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They didn't laugh because they couldn't laugh in those moments, but they were polite about it.
They
at
were
least,
polite
because they enjoyed you.
And right away, now let's go back to 10 years later, and me watching Bill Burr in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You follow me, and I'm like, oh, thank God somebody else went through that. 'Cause, like, I was getting a couple boos and.
Did they keep the TV on behind you on mute? Because I would worry about that. Like,
they're very polite.
Am I missing the game here?
Yeah,
they kept it on mute.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Mute. They don't fucking mute anything.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, when I started comedy, the Sabres had just, like, I remember the first couple years, I'd be so pissed at the Sabres because, you have your sets during the week, and you're like, no one's going to fucking come. There's a fucking game tonight. And then finally, like, the Sabres had 10 years of sucking, and they just became people are like, well, I'll go do something else. I'm not going to watch the Sabres. The Sabres, like, sucked so long recently that it's waned down a little bit. They still sell out games, but I mean, like, people aren't watching them feverishly every fucking night,
Like, I could see myself, if it wasn't for the winters, moving my family to Buffalo.
It's a great place for a family. It really is.
Well, I like the state of mind in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I met a lot of good people from Buffalo. I mean, when I went to Boulder, the people I ran with were Buffalo people.
Yeah.
I mean, and the guy would have Monday night football parties whenever Buffalo was gone, and you go over there. Dog, this is how you're going to know. His mother would overnight wick.
Beef on weck.
No, not the beef. He would cook the beef himself.
The Kimmelwick rolls?
She would overnight the Kimmelwick rolls.
Nice.
I mean, these guys were in.
Yeah.
And while they were watching the game, they would put the helmets on. And I still remember one Monday night where the kid kept jumping.
Oh, wow.
And he told him, don't jump. And the kid jumped and cracked his head open. They had an ice pack on the kid's head. Kid's bleeding. And the father's like, we're not going... Next time, don't jump. You're not going to the hospital till after the Bills game.
Yeah.
And the kid sat there with the ice pack and a towel. The mom was crying, pleading. fuck them.
I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
this is something
That stupid kid was dumb. You should have waited the fourth quarter to bang
Yeah,
it.
to bang his head there. But all these experiences take me back to Buffalo, so I can't imagine. Like, when did you, was there a point at the radio station? Just because there's people in life that are stuck, man.
Dude, I worked there for 15 years almost. I started working there when I was 16. So I didn't know anything else, you know? And I except for that time that I went to Cleveland, you know? And I didn't know that. I was like, this is going to be my life. But then the jobs just started disappearing. There was no upward place to go. It went away. At first, it looked like when you first started at 16, it was 2004 or some shit. And I was like, the sky's the limit. I could be Howard Stern someday. But then, you started seeing like the nuts and bolts of this thing and it's going away or whatever. And like the jobs are getting paid less, etc. So I just was like, and I thought comedy would be like my second thing for a while. Do you know what I mean? Like until I was 22, then I was like, no, this has to flip around. And radio is the secondary thing because it's not taking me anywhere. Comedy's taking me places already, so out of the gate I'm doing things that I've never dreamed of doing. So it flipped at like 22 and I did stand up that's when I started really doing it. Yeah,
because the last time I saw you were really working the helium rotation.
Yeah,
I mean, you were really in the rotation. They had you going to Philly, I think.
I never went to Philly. They only had me going between St. Louis and Buffalo, honestly. They never sent me the other ones.
And then you worked with me in St. Louis.
Yep.
And
that third weekend it opened.
That was, listen, you've all heard me fart on different platforms. I'm not going to sit here with a fart like a soldier. I'm too old. And whatever comes out, so be it. And if you're sitting close to me, that's life. It happens. I've inhaled a couple great farts myself. I've inhaled some bad ones. What are we talking about? Farting.
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
St. Louis, I got on stage that Thursday night. And I'm on stage, Lee, and I'm just smelling fart after fart after fart. Now, I don't care, because I do the same thing. Once you're on a fart roll, why stop? Sensational.